The first thing to comment about that is it's often assumed that when people are living in high-risk areas where that risk is known, is that providing them with information about the hazard, the risk, and what they should be doing about it would be sufficient to motivate them to prepare. That assumption has not proven valid. Rather, people's actions are driven more by how they interpret their relationship with a hazard, how they interpret the information that they get, but also how they interpret the relationship that they have with sources of information. So the key drivers come from each of these levels. So at the personal level, one of the important drivers is whether people believe that it's possible to prepare for the hazard in the first place. And that is captured by a variable called outcome expectancy. Hazards tend to be infrequent, so people rarely have opportunities to find out at first hand what works and what kinds of things they will have to deal with. So they rely upon information from others to guide them, and they develop expectations about whether or not the outcome of adopting those behaviours will be effective or ineffective. So people who develop a negative outcome expectancy believe that the hazard is too big, too catastrophic for any personal action to take place, and that reduces the likelihood that they will prepare. In contrast, people are motivated to act if they have a positive outcome expectancy, and that is they believe that if they adopt particular actions, then they can enhance their safety or reduce their risk. The second set of factors comes from the fact that believing that preparing can be effective is not the same as knowing what to do. And the second set of factors derive from the fact that people's views about risk and what to do about risk tend to be informed primarily by discussions that they have with people that they are familiar with and that they identify with. So the people that they work with, that they are in social clubs with, that they worship with, any of these are areas where there is some sort of commonality provides the source of that information. It's also become evident that people's preparedness is a function of some of the competencies that they have. So things like problem solving have proven to be very important. People must be able to work out what problems they will have to deal with, what the fire will actually present them with, and then to work out what kinds of activities are likely to be most effective. And so that drives the process forwards. And then the next level is whether or not once they've formulated their ideas about what they want to do, if they need information from other sources like a fire agency, then it's the quality of that relationship that determines whether they act. So they formulate their needs. And if their needs are met by the resources of information from a source, then they will act on, or they're more likely to act on that information. So we've been developing a model that pulls these elements together, which demonstrates that there's a sequence of issues that have to be addressed in developing good risk communication programs, and that is convincing people that there is a point in doing something in the first place. So developing their expectations that if they perform particular actions, their safety will be enhanced. Secondly, it's about ensuring that people can develop these ideas in community contexts so that they're well placed to work with others, to develop their views about risk and to work out the solutions that are going to work for them. Then the final part is going to be developing better engagement mechanisms so that the fire and other agencies interact effectively with communities to make sure that their needs are met. So these are the key things that actually drive the process forward. So it's no longer just about giving people information. It's about making sure that people get information that helps them know what to do, information that helps them work out how they're best placed to respond, and making sure that they're empowered in that process by getting information from key sources.